The jungle hummed with life as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, creeping shadows across the dense foliage. Crickets chirped in a rhythmic chorus, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets carried by the evening breeze. It was a world teeming with hidden creatures, where survival was dictated by instinct and brute force. Among these creatures was the mighty elephant, Garo, a beast of immense size and power, feared and revered in equal measure. His massive tusks gleamed like polished ivory, and his thunderous footsteps shook the earth beneath him. 4 years he had ruled the jungle, trampling anything that dared to challenge his dominion. He had no regard for the small, the weak, or the insignificant. One such insignificant creature was an ant named Saru. To Garo, Saru and his kind were nothing more than specks on the ground, unnoticed and unimportant. But Saru was unlike the others. He was clever, calculating, and filled with a quiet rage that had been simmering for years. He had seen countless members of his colony crushed under the careless weight of Goro's monstrous feet. Their tiny bodies, once bustling with life and duty, were now nothing more than flattened husks in the dirt. But tonight, things would change. Tonight, the jungle would witness something it had never seen before, the wrath of the insignificant. Saru stood at the entrance of the colony, his antennae twitching as he watched the last glimmers of sunlight fade. The jungle had always belonged to the strong, but he had spent years learning its secrets, studying its patterns, and understanding its weaknesses. He had listened to the whispers of the old ones, the tales of forgotten curses, and the power of unity. He turned to his fellow ants, who had gathered in the thousands, their beady eyes gleaming with an eerie determination. "Tonight," Saru called out, "we reclaim our place in the jungle." The colony responded with silent agreement, their tiny bodies vibrating with anticipation. They had suffered long enough. The time for fear was over. As the moon climbed higher, bathing the jungle in a pale, ghostly glow, the ants moved as one, a living, breathing tide of darkness. They surged through the undergrowth, following the scent of their enemy. Goro stood near a watering hole, his massive trunk scooping up cool water and spraying it over his thick, wrinkled hide. He was alone, unconcerned, his mind at ease. He had dominated this land for years. No creature dared challenge him. A faint rustling in the grass caught his attention, but he dismissed it. The jungle was always alive with movement. He yawned, stretching his enormous limbs, and turned back toward the trees. Then he felt it, a sharp, stinging sensation on his foot. At first, he ignored it, assuming it to be nothing more than a stray thorn or an insignificant bite from a bug. But the pain intensified. Another sting, then another, and another. He lifted his foot and saw them. Ants. Thousands of them. They moved like a wave, flowing up his legs, clinging to his skin, biting with tiny, relentless jaws. Their venom seeped into his flesh, igniting his nerves with searing agony. He trumpeted in rage, stomping and shaking, but the ants did not retreat. Instead, they climbed higher, spreading across his body, targeting his eyes, his trunk, the soft folds behind his ears. The mighty Garo, the king of the jungle, was now the hunted. Panic set in. Garo charged through the trees, smashing into trunks, hoping to scrape off the relentless swarm. He rolled on the ground, crushing bushes, snapping branches, but the ants held on. Their bites dug deeper, their numbers suffocating. His vision blurred. His roars of fury turned to cries of desperation. Saru, perched atop Goro's head, watched the chaos unfold with a cold satisfaction. "Do you feel it now?" he whispered, his voice lost in the night wind. "The fear? The helplessness?" Goro stumbled, his legs growing weak. The venom worked its way through his body, clouding his mind, turning pain into unbearable torment. He tripped, crashing into a shallow pit, his massive body trembling. The jungle fell silent. The once mighty elephant lay still, the darkness closing in around him. And Saru, the insignificant, had finally taken his revenge.